Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and I am joined now by our news partner moving forward. This is Marianne Gariti.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And now we've had you on quite a few times, and I really like that we cover different topics, not only within your organization, but for all people to apply. Really, all of our viewers, they can always learn something. And today we're talking about downsizing. But before we get into that, first, I just want to talk about what kind of company is moving forward. If somebody's tuning in and maybe they're wondering, what is this organization all about?
Sure, absolutely. So moving forward, it's a company, we're actually an A+ certified senior move management company. And essentially, we just help families take the stress off downsizing and moving.
I love it. A simple mission, but a very helpful one, something that a lot of people can benefit from. And how is the best way to find out if you can help folks going through that situation, thinking if they could use your services?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way it works is usually, we'll get a phone call from either a client or a family member, and we always do a free 1-hour consultation.
That's so nice.
Yeah, so we kind of sit down with them first and figure out, what their plan is, if they're moving from a house to a condo or a senior living apartment. And then we walk through the house and we kind of see what they have. And so we just then discuss like how much it would cost to have us come in and help them from start to finish, to have them move and get their house ready to be put on the market.
Now, when you guys are working with seniors, are there children usually around too?
Sometimes, yes,
Okay.
Sometimes they are, but I would say, we get called a lot by the children because if they're living out of state or they have a very busy job, then really they can't be there to do all the hands-on work with their parents. So we usually communicate a lot with emails, pictures, with the kids, and then work directly with their parents.
And when you're moving somebody out of maybe a house they've been in maybe their whole life or a significant portion of their life, like you said, that's a lot of work. And even if you do have the time, it may be too much for one person to handle. And you guys have really got it down to a science and an art. So I think that's a really helpful aspect as well. And so does your staff work one-on-one with the clients, or do you have multiple staff members who come to each project?
Yeah, sure. That's a good question too. So basically, we have a few different parts of the project. So we do a lot of one-on-one where somebody just, one-on-one with the client in different rooms of their house, deciding what to bring. And then typically we'll kind of get things ready to be packed up, and I'll bring in a few people, maybe 3 ladies. I have wonderful staff, so they're all just amazing.
Yeah.
So they'll come in and just kind of do the packing process. And then I have a couple of guys and a lady also who helps haul the items sometimes to their new apartment. And then we all kind of work together on that move day. So maybe there's 5 of us actually unpacking them to get them all settled in on their actual move day.
It's really a team effort.
It is.
Sounds like.
Absolutely, yes.
How would you say a typical project lasts to move somebody from start to finish?
Sure. Although we do get a lot of rush calls saying, I need to move my mom Monday. And so when we just, everything gets put on fast paced. But usually I would say from the time we go to a house, even like a 3,000 square foot house, we could definitely have our client move, the house emptied, ready for the market within 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
so
seems
that
really
happens a lot.
fast. Very fast. Now, what advice would you give to folks watching at home who are maybe watching this and thinking of maybe there's a senior in their life who could use their services?
Sure, absolutely. And I think it's never too early to start thinking of the process, thinking about what you can live without right now, kind of start downsizing, giving items to charities, to your kids. It's great if you have a china set. You might want to hand that off to your daughter, or, so go ahead and try to do whatever you can, even years before you think you're going to move into a senior apartment. Because again, if something happens that happens and it's unfortunate, it's much harder. So if you kind of have prevented that rush move, it's much easier. So starting early. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I always like your moving tips and advice because, like I said, I think they can apply to everybody if you're moving or maybe thinking you should downsize. And if you just want to touch on quickly before we go, kind of your process of how you help people decide what to keep and what to give away, because I think it's super interesting yet a really simple mindset, you know?
Absolutely. And as we're going through things, and some things are super easy, like I'm done with that, I don't want it. But other things are kind of difficult. It's just that borderline, question. And so it's something we just tell people, if you don't love it, if you could live without it and you could easily replace it, then we say it's probably a good time to part with it and give it to somebody who can use it at the moment, such as coats, blankets, shoes that we all kind of accumulate, and maybe we just don't need them all. So just, if you really don't love it and you don't have that attachment, it's easy to let it go. Whenever you could do that, there's so many people who can use those items.
Absolutely, and such a great mindset, and really pass it along to somebody else who can use it.
Right.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
here,
you for having
Marianne.
me.
We appreciate it, and again, this is our news partner moving forward, and we'll be back with more Talk of the Town right after this.
Thank you.